if you allow trolls to tell my story, I'm the biggest pathological liar in the world. Till someone comes out the woodworks and goes, nah, that was dude.
Right.
Because we've allowed the trolls now
Yeah.
to control the narrative. When I watch gangbangers gossiping,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
it makes all my lower extremities just hurt now. We have now made social media the proper way to beef.
Hey, what's up, world? It's your boy Big Court here on the Holding Court podcast. What's cracking with you, producer Ken?
Man, just get through it. My man Court said, "I'm gonna get studio time today." He's gonna pull. See, who was the person that just told us? Ray Love. He said when Pac got one day in the studio,
Fucking right.
he'll do 500 songs.
Right.
I gave Court one day in the studio. We got 89 interviews.
I done had this bitch rolling like a
All
trap
day.
house, my
Yeah,
nigga.
all
Look,
day
like
long.
a trap house.
Wow.
Hey, what's up with you, Rachel Renee? It's been a long day for you too, huh?
I'm getting my stamina up.
Yeah, that's right.
You
And
know?
you've been doing an awesome job, daughter. I just
Thank
want to tell you
you.
that. I'm very proud of you.
He ain't never said that shit to me one time. just for the yeah.
Yeah, when they get you on the comments, I say, Ken, producer Ken, you do a good job.
And he might take you outside.
Hey, but we got a special guest, man. We got a special guest, and I don't say that lightly, man. We got a South Central legend in the house, man. Well, controversial depending on who you talk to and who's looking.
I ain't got
You know
no
what I mean?
cash, but just take the Discover card.
Hey, he done already showed me his bank account. I didn't ask for a hot 200. He won't even let me hold the 200. But man, we got an OG in hip hop in South Central, a legend. We got the homie Big Caz, aka. Let me not. Yeah, because listen, my wife got me.
Oh my god!
Because
He butchered your name.
Did he?
He
Guillermo?
Yes.
That's what I said. I didn't
Yes.
have
The
to
L's
get
are silent.
say it.
He called me Giggity.
I said Guillermo, and they looked at me and said, "What?"
Who that is?
Yes.
Guillermo.
Yeah.
It's hard for me
Guillermo
to say my
Elon.
tongue had
Listen,
Guillermo.
I always tell this story when I got to Folsom Penitentiary, even
Yeah.
Juvie, and they yelled out Guillermo Elon 467-183, my number.
Yeah.
And I stood up. The Mexicans went like this. No, Saturday. No. Muévete, no, aquí. No. Maybe Cuban. Maybe Puerto Rican. He not with us.
Yeah.
And brother like, cuz you Mexican? I'm like, there's an X
Yeah.
there. It's not MESSICAN.
He said Messi.
Yeah, so they were confused too. But yes, you did good.
Guillermo Elon.
Elon.
See?
Yeah, man. You'll get it.
You speak Spanish too?
Enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where you from, LA? So I
Third
guess.
at and
Yeah.
52nd.
Yeah, and if you was hustling, you probably needed to know a little bit.
My
Uh,
son.
yes. We always said this because we always my Mexican connect.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I didn't want the connect.
Mm-hmm.
See, the connect is still the middle to the.
Yeah.
I wanted
Right.
that guy.
Yeah. The with the big cowboy hat and the buckle.
That when we called him crooked, we called him the crooked boot boys.
Yes.
It was a whole different get down.
Yeah.
When the crooked boot, the one that's dressed like us, he want to be like us. His money is too
Exactly.
close to mine.
Exactly.
I wanted the dude that owned the market,
Yep.
that didn't speak much, but goddamn them boots is,
Man.
yeah.
In my day of hustling, that's how you knew you had it, especially because I was going close to Juarez. So when you see the motherfucker with the
Allegedly.
cowboy hat,
Allegedly.
shout out to Young
Wait,
Mouth.
is this camera right here?
Yeah.
Any views said by myself and Big Court are not now.
Yes, this is true. This
We're
is true.
good Catholic boys now. Okay, we got it.
Dramatization.
No, this is real. This is real. But yeah, the big belt buckle
Yes.
and cowboy hat.
And
that
we
is
made
the man.
fun of them, not knowing.
That they was the man.
He was
He had
that
the
guy.
bread. He had
Yeah.
the bread.
Yeah, man.
So I want to start from the beginning just a little bit. I mean, your story is well documented. You've done you've done your share of media. You've been around, bro.
Yes.
You've been around, and so born and raised South Central Los Angeles, 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk about that.
I just saw it as my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I started I will never say I started when it started. I started when it became, 77, 78.
Let me ask you, was it still Arlington? Was it the okay, there it is.
A&H.
Yeah, yeah.
Arlington neighborhood.
Okay. All
You
right.
know what I mean? And that's only the real ones.
Yeah.
It was not Rolling 60s. It was
That's
Arlington.
right. Arlington.
Then it became, AG block.
AG
You know what
block.
I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. I was on 3rd Ave. Battle Cat was on 2nd Ave. The Homie Ice. I'm sorry. Well, 2nd Ave. Then you had Arlington. But yeah, we were Arlington boys. We were considered the front hood.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But there wasn't no overhill, front, middle. You know what I mean? But we were that block that started it.
And not the front hood in Compton for those listening.
No,
Yeah.
no. And when I let me take that back because I discredit because somebody's gonna run for the. We didn't start it. We were the second drafts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It was the first, the big cats. That the John. We were the second draft. We were the youngsters.
Got you.
But I saw my neighborhood as I talk about it in the book as being that at that time I was still with my birth mother, and there was only 3 white people on my whole street. She was one of them, and I didn't understand the methods of what South Central was.
Yeah.
We didn't hear those words until years later. South Central, and I still to this day ain't figure out what's South and what's Central.
Right. Right.
But I just knew that. Well, if I went up to Crenshaw, I saw different complexions. If I went up to La Brea, and we're talking walking distance, so I didn't know that I was in the ghetto.
Right.
Because the complexion fit the perfection of how I lived.
Right.
And I just
And also over there in that area, Windsor Hills, View Park,
Very
it
much
can
so.
be very
Baldwin Hills.
deceiving.
Yes,
Very deceiving. 'Cause
yes.
It's a beautiful area.
I want to I want to apologize to all the mothers and fathers that had daughters. They went to St. Mary's. I'm just having a moment. I apologize. It was a DeBarge thing at that time. I was Bruno DeBarge.
Speaking of which, are light skinned niggas still in?
Yeah, we here. We
Oh,
here.
you still
we,
here?
We
Okay.
don't have
Because
to
in the
burn.
80s, y'all kind of ran shit.
No, we never went nowhere. See,
Okay.
right away, I interact with my people over here. We don't have to perm our hair. Just look at the water. Let me tell you something. I came home from the joint and I had dreads. 'Cause I had long hair for years. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm going to let it dread up. And I remember I said something to a very inappropriate, beautiful black woman. I said, well, I got that good hair.
Ooh.
And she in mid-twist and she said, Bumbaclab, what do you mean it's good hair? I mean,
Yeah.
you ain't got. She goes, well, if it's so good, why are you always bald first? Ken, she said that. It was like, I mean, my hairline been the same since 6th grade. And she said, no, you have a different grade hair.
Right,
You don't have good hair. But,
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
light skin's still in, though.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean,
All right.
they-
Right on.
But
Matt Barnes said the same thing.
Yeah. But if you stay out the sun, I'm really thinking you might be a Rico DeBarge.
Nah, because I've said
Puerto
that
Rican.
before. I try to claim dark skinned nigga. Dark skinned
No,
niggas
you're
won't have
not.
me.
Yeah, you're not.
They
all
won't
the way.
have me.
You're not. 'Cause-
Yeah, dark skinned
You've been
niggas won't have me.
rejected.
Yeah, you don't need the lotion as bad. You know what I mean?
hey, I have my ex-wife, Puerto Rican and black. Both of our kids, white with blue eyes.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah, I
will-
couldn't tell you where these came from.
Who will grow up probably speaking Spanish. And they're gonna be confusing everybody
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if you see them with their mom, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
she used to get asked all the time if she was the nanny. She
Wow.
would take them to the
Damn.
park and get pissed. She'd come back, this bitch at the park, and I was like, well, we live in a white neighborhood,
Right.
so
Right.
I mean, that's just.
I
what it
just
is.
met some birth family from my white side.
Yeah.
And as I'm on the phone with one of them, shout out to my cousin. I haven't met her yet. I met my sister. And I think you saw that document where I
Mhm.
flew my sister and my
Yep.
niece down. But she introduced me to the cousin. And I'm like, yeah, so this nigga, blah, blah, blah. And she went, Guillermo, I just got to ask you something real quick. So you say that word. And I was like, what, shit? Motherfuck? And she was like, no, that N-word. Yeah. Well, how come you could say that and we can't? I went, well, yours is a tan.
Right.
Mine, I can tan, but some of it's permanent.
Yeah.
I said, so someone in my swimming pool had a permanent tan.
Yeah.
And she went, so you could just say that nobody has a problem with it? I said, well, I'd like them to introduce themselves to me and let me know they have a problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've had those moments, like you said, where people are like, well, what are you?
Yeah.
You know.
Let me ask you this, and I asked Matt Barnes and Busy Bone the same thing. You growing up in the hood and being fair skinned, especially with hazel eyes, and being mixed race because your mom's white, your dad is
Latino. Yeah.
Did you ever find yourself, especially amongst the hood and amongst where you find yourself not being enough of something, trying to fit in? It's like, damn, I'm not enough of this and I'm not enough of that. Like, how did you navigate that growing up?
There's a chapter in the book called Growing Up Biracial. And I wasn't, by my vernacular, I was, and my actions on the street,
black.
my get down, I was black enough.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's who brought the white boy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nigga, you ain't even black, homie. You Mexican.
Right.
Or you red.
Right.
You know what I mean? I never tried to fit in. I wasn't that gangbanger that I didn't want my pants sagging.
Yeah.
You know, I might punch somebody and I might have to run. I don't want to be pulling my pants up.
That's right.
I never was that. I was still the who is that? And what is that? But yeah, I dealt with it. And I just, there was always that misconception that white boys can't fight. So if you got white in you, the ass whooping is going to be a little bit different. Nah, I beat you like I was whatever color you didn't think I was going to be. I talk about it in the book. We had Woolworths. Do you remember Woolworths?
I do. Yep.
We had Woolworths, and Woolworths, remember the sit-in in Woolworths. That was Woolworths. And at that time, I was going to Audubon Junior High School, and I thought I was going to impress my friends because they had no signs were up at that time about blacks, but you still knew you were not allowed to just sit at the counter. You weren't allowed to just mosey around the store because it was, what can I help you with?
Right.
Why are you in here? Who are these little nigga kids in here? So we leave in the swimming pool, and we're going to get malts at that time. We called them malts. And they all turn. Woolworths is on Crenshaw. So they turn left to go to the outside order window. And I mosey my little high yellow ass inside. I sit down. I'm like, yeah, I'd like to have a strawberry malt. And the guy served me with no issues. The waitress you want anything else, baby? Oh, you got the prettiest eyes, blah, blah, blah. My friend David, I ain't got too many ass whoopings in my life. And to this day, I don't think Dave could have whooped my ass, but he was so angry that I put them in such a, look at my black friends outside. It was probably the most ignorant racial moment I ever had. What I was trying to show was, look, I can go in there. But they didn't see a little black kid going in there. They saw an accepted kid because of my color, and it was the most embarrassing, hurtful things I did to my friends that day. And I remember David dope feed me in the mouth.
Your partner?
Yeah, my own partner, David dope feed me. And it was one of those, this nigga just...
One of my best friends dope fiend me too.
Yeah.
So I know,
I hold that grudge this day. I drove by his house today hoping I'd see him. David's probably 60 years old now. But, yes, I did deal with it. And it had its benefits.
Oh, yes, of course.
But if you ever want to be reminded that you're not white, go somewhere with someone white. And I don't like to play that game. I have a sweatshirt that says, I can't be racist. I hate you already. Give me a reason. That was dark. Just to laugh. Y'all don't know. It's a family around here. I don't want to be. I'd rather just hate you. Give me a reason to like you, and we're family. And dealing with that as I grew older, I hated the thought of experiencing. You're in the Hollywood business.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to sit there and hear things with your eyes, not with your ears. Because we think, but your eyes will tell it. Your eyes are like, I know I just heard what I heard.
Right.
Or if I may, you being in a multicultural business, people will think they're comfortable to say something to you when it's just you. And you want to go, hey, man, I go home and my best friends and my family and my niece and,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, he played. Oh yeah, he. It's funny because
Uh-oh.
you see where I'm
He about to
finna.
bust
I ain't
you.
even gonna. Okay, I'm gonna let you want to tell it. Or,
That's all
no, I was just going to say, man, this is my brother. For 20 years, and it's
Oh,
so
wow.
funny because, he's born and raised in Sacramento in the projects.
Yeah.
He grew up around the culture. If he
Mhm.
take his shirt off, he look like a Nortino. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
So,
Oh,
but
don't put that jacket on.
I'm just saying, you tatted up. You
Well,
look
you
like
actually
you could be,
know a very
you know.
dear brother of mine from SAC,
Oh,
Big Crazy.
okay, yeah, yep.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
The one that sued the feds. And
yeah.
I talked to him last night. I showed him I was coming on the show. He's
Mm-hmm.
the one that signed T Nutty. He had, Seaboy and all them. Big Crazy from
Mhm.
Garden Block Crip.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we did some time together. So I moved him out. He lives in Arizona now.
Oh, okay.
But he was the cat that
Small
they
world.
were terrorizing him out in Sacramento.
Small world.
And he ended up, all the stuff he got busted for the first 20 times he was guilty of.
Mm-hmm.
But then he went straight, started the record business. I forget what he had that Seaboy and all them were signed to.
Yeah.
And they set him up on a fake drug.
Mm.
And he ended up getting some time.
Mm-hmm.
The state's witness confessed that the drugs they had planted on him. He ended up suing the feds for $3.4 million. You can pull it up. And I always laugh because he's married to this 90-pound little Filipino girl, and he goes, "Shit, to her, I'm Denzel." He got his passport, cleaned his record, went over to the Philippines. He now owns a trucking business, and he's married to a little Filipino girl. And he goes, "Shit, to her, I'm Denzel."
Living his best life.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
but
That's
SAC,
what's up.
I got a lot of folks up. I was in Old Folsom, so
Yeah.
when I had to sit in San Leandro for a while, and the farthest I was able to go was Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I used to say the Bay,
Mm-hmm.
and it was T Nutty that was like, "Caz, do you see any water around us?"
Nah, we ain't.
Yeah,
the Bay.
people
We actually
confuse
pushed
that.
back
Yeah.
against it, and it's not no shot to the Bay because I love the Bay,
Yeah, same here.
but it's not the same. You know what I mean? Like,
But I didn't know. I just thought,
SAC is Northern California. The Bay is the Bay.
yeah.
You got
Just
touch,
like-
you got to touch water.
Just like with us in KC, we hate when motherfuckers from I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. Okay. And no matter how many times I say I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, a motherfucker will still fire back and say, "Yeah, so how's Kansas?"
And it's not even.
It's a different state. Like,
Yeah.
there's a now, granted, there's a Kansas City, Kansas, and a Kansas City, Missouri,
right.
but they're totally different.
So my birth sister, that's where she's from, Missouri. So they say Missouri.
Nah, them's the old white folks.
Yeah. So
How old is she?
She's white.
Okay. Yeah,
Sorry,
see?
sis.
See, Missouri. She says
Yeah,
Missouri.
Missouri.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, how close is that to where you grew up at?
What part of Missouri is she in?
I don't remember. I flew
Okay.
there.
Well, Kansas City and St. Louis are the two main cities in
Okay.
Missouri. So
I caught a case in Garden City.
in Missouri,
Yeah.
I don't know where that is.
No, Garden City, Kansas. I think it
Oh,
was
okay. That's Kansas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
See again. See what I just did?
Yeah,
That ain't
that's
us,
another
man.
state. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when people say that, they be like, "Well, how was it growing up in Kansas?" I be like, "Shit, I don't know."
No, but let me know when you go.
Yeah. Fuck, I don't know.
I want a real quick say, man, because we shooting this shit.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, brother.
Yeah,
You
man,
already know.
doing
We've been
dope.
trying to do this for a minute.
Just a tad bit. Look, I offered him to come to the beach house.
Man, he did.
So
hold on.
You need to get mad right now.
He
I would've put
offered
y'all
the
in a
beach house,
a resort out in Mexico. I have a house out there.
He
I
was
said,
trying
I'll
to
cover
shoot
all
at
the costs.
Mexico.
Have y'all come out. Look at his
Yeah.
face right now. Like, this is bullshit. I didn't know
did.
nothing about this.
He did.
That's okay. He's getting
He
past
did.
the story he was gonna tell about me something.
Nah, he did. Yeah, no, OG Caz was trying to lay it out. He was like, "Yeah, brother, man, I got a beach house." Now, at first you said Mexico. Man, I fly
We have a house
down.
there, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do the beach house. We do it big. I was like, "Nah,
Yeah,
I
I'll cover
appreciate
all
it,
costs.
OG."
And he was like,
I said, "Nah, I appreciate it, OG. We just gonna come to the studio. We don't got to pay for it." Nah,
Yeah.
it's not no.
But
big
you know
deal.
why? Because when I started watching the show, I saw a very eloquent young man with a partner. And
Mhm.
now that
Yeah.
your daughter,
Thank you, brother.
and I'm like, I stray away from, you saw my post last
Mhm.
week, and he went,
I didn't know
"Let's go."
who you was talking about.
You know who I was talking about.
I was trying to guess. We'll talk.
Man, come on.
Yeah.
We know what shows I'll never do again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I made a lot of cats, I
Mhm.
made a lot of money, that monetization,
Mhm.
because that if you allow trolls to tell my story, I'm the
Mhm.
biggest pathological liar in the world. Till someone comes out the woodworks and goes, "Nah, that was dude."
Right.
Because we've allowed the trolls now
Yeah.
to control the narrative.
That's social media.
The
Yeah.
trends.
There's a
Yeah.
kid, cover your ears, earmuff times. There's a kid somewhere sitting in Kansas
Mm-hmm.
crying at night using his tears for lubrication,
Mm-hmm.
and he hates his life.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry, I went in on that one. But that's what these podcasts, they're not,
Yeah.
they're snitch channels.
Yeah.
I'm watching gangbangers.
Yeah.
Look, that's Folsom Penitentiary.
Mhm.
You're not walking in no normal, hey, you got a Folsom tattoo?
Mhm.
And that's say RSC.
Mhm.
That's a 1% tattoo on the back of my neck.
It's the motorcycle gang.
That's a motorcycle thing.
Mhm.
You're not walking in no tattoo parlor saying that dude would lose his fingers.
Mhm.
I come from that pure uncut, you know. And when I watch gangbangers gossiping,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
that makes all my lower extremities just hurt now. Like, that's what we doing now?
Yeah, it's different, bro.
So
It's
that's why I wanted to do your show.
Thank
so
you,
bad.
brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate
I
it.
wanted to.
And I purposely, created the platform like that because I come from the element as well.
Mhm.
And the thing is we don't have to do all the goofy shit. You know what I
Mm-mm.
mean? Like I adjusted to the social media shit. Like think about it. Back in our day, we didn't really take a lot of
No.
pictures because you wanted to be able to deny knowing a motherfucker.
That
Like
part.
you wanted. There's a certain level of anonymity you needed
Right.
just to kind of fucking stay out of jail,
Yeah.
right? Because we was all in the shit. But there's a way that you can do it. There's a way that you can even address controversial things. You don't have to be disrespectful because this is my thing. Like I did a podcast, and the guy, I'm cool with the guy, but he kept trying to get me to go in on
Mhm.
people.
Yeah.
And I was like, dog, I don't do that.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not going to go out of my way in real life
Mhm.
I ain't going to call you a snitch on a podcast.
Right.
If when I see you in real life, I'm not going to go out of my way to say, hey, bitch ass nigga, you a
Yeah.
snitch.
Yeah.
If
But
I'm not
it's-
going to do that, then I'm not going to say it on the podcast.
But it's easier to do it this way now. I heard
Right.
I heard that nigga Caz is a snitch. Well, where I come from,
Mm-hmm.
all this, I got a beautiful, beautiful package waiting for you to give to you if you put my name out there. Like, I can't catch Caesar 2929.
Right.
I don't know who that is.
Right.
I was so ignorant.
Yes.
I used to offer plane tickets. I swear to God.
To the trolls.
Man, let me fly
When
you
I first
out.
got, I had to do the same thing.
Because you seem like
Listen.
you really are upset with me. But understand that I'm not flying you. I want you to bring that camera, and I'm gonna bring you to my gym that I own, and I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
put these gloves on, and I want you to
Yeah.
tell me how I really don't fight for a living, how
That's-
I'm not really a professional. Like when I was in Thailand.
Yeah. That's because we from a different generation where you had to pay for your words with your ass.
That
you know what I'm
part.
saying?
That
So
part.
when you say something, in Argent, we took it face value.
Yes.
So when I first got on social media, same thing. Like I got trolls and so they got me crazy. I'm waking up, bitch ass nigga. Where you at? Pull up.
Now,
What
did you
city
experience
in?
this when
you
he
know what I'm
started?
saying? You
We
know,
grew up together.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. Yes.
And what did you? Because to you, you're like, Dad, I'm in college now. I'm
Right.
and you watching your dad have to go back into a bag
Right.
that didn't he just pour me cereal? He mad over cereal?
And see,
You know,
Who
he's
bangs
telling
over
me.
cereal?
I didn't understand the culture of social media. Like now, it's
it's
funny
comical.
to me now.
Yeah.
It's comical.
I
Like-
still want the kids
like-
dead.
like
Like that's a whole different.
like sometimes I ain't even gonna lie. Some of the trolling and some of the comments are hilarious.
Yeah.
Even when they talk about me,
Yeah.
I get a good laugh.
It's
you know
funny
what I
to
mean?
me.
Now
Yeah.
you knowing him,
Yeah.
I know you want to, but how do you handle it?
Now half the time I gotta keep him from jumping off the ledge.
Yeah,
We've been I ain't gonna say where. We've been places where he's like ready to.
Places.
Yeah.
We've been places where he's been ready to get active. I'm like, all right, relax. Like, look, this is what it
Because
is.
our
I'm kind of
mindsets-
like you. I'm kind of like you, Caz, and I think you do the same thing that I do.
Civil until you're not.
Because we can articulate, we're intelligent.
Right.
We know how to speak. We understand time and place.
Mhm.
So I think you do the same thing I do. For social media, we tend to kind of clean up.
Right.
See, a lot of niggas go the opposite way. They really choir boys in real life.
Right.
But then on social media, they turned up, they this, they that. But I kind of, not that it's not me,
Mhm.
but I guess being from the old school, you was taught to present yourself a certain way and lead, with your best. So I think sometimes people get that fucked up
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
say, oh, well, damn, he's clean cut. You know, yeah, I keep my shit together. You're
Yeah.
supposed to self pride. You
See,
know,
I'm not. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not a gang member. I just come from. My mom was young and we
Yeah.
lived in a bad neighborhood. I ain't never gang bang. I don't do
Right.
all that.
But you ain't got to be a
I'm not-
gangbanger to be
yeah.
a killer.
I ain't no dope dealer
Right.
and all of
Yeah.
that. Never been it. But I'll tell you right now, from my people, my brothers, and everything else, like
Mhm.
he know. Like we went to the movies for the I got the hookup 2 premiere and
Mhm.
his son was there and I went into the bathroom. Somebody was mugging his son. This is my.
Mhm.
Here's the thing.
It's like your nephew.
The interview and whatever comes out of that in the comments, I don't care because that's not real to
Right,
me.
Right.
right.
But ain't no one ever gonna say nothing about court or anybody in the family
Right.
in front of me
Yeah.
because
Right.
then it would be a problem. I went into the bathroom with my brother-in-law, who was a big Latino dude,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and someone was mugging like his son, and so I had to be like, "Yo, you good, bro?" Like,
Yeah.
because he didn't know I'm a white guy in there.
Yeah.
He's is a Mexican dude mugging like this young black kid,
Right.
and I was just like, "Nah, we ain't gonna do that around here." Like,
But sadly, Ice-T gets on me constantly. Because Ice loves it.
Yeah.
I've known Ice since I was 10 years old.
right.
And he'll tell you, he'll say, Caz, I've always kept you because you was that.
Mhm.
I'm 5'10". I'm not 6'10", but I guarantee you there's 10 niggas with terrible lockjaw now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I done bust some snot boxes open.
Yeah.
And Ice said something to me. He said, always remember, a lie is more entertaining than the truth.
That's right. Every time.
You never get mad at the person talking ish.
Yeah.
I want to know why your ears were so comfortable to the man talking ish.
Mhm.
I don't want you to come tell me what he said
Mhm.
because the story should only
Yeah.
be, so I knocked this nigga teeth out, blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. But that's not it. We need the stories now.
Mhm.
And sadly, one thing I said, he said, for instance, he posted the book.
Mhm.
And within, I sold 3,600 something books within a couple hours
Mhm.
because I posted it.
Right.
I don't care about comments. I
Mhm.
said, let me go read the comments. And it was 98% positive.
Mhm.
Then there was this one dude who put, yo, didn't his brother say he was nothing but an actor? What do you benefit off that?
Right. Right.
Again, earmuffs. His girl's not gonna be like, oh, you so sexy that you this big cord, you this big head, you so sexy
Right.
now. Did you just grow an extra inch? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did your bank account just get an extra $5 in it?
Exactly. Yeah.
But my mindset is, I can't let you.
Mhm.
So now, my brother who I showed up with,
Yeah.
he was like, man, why are you so angry?
Yeah.
Because this is the matrix for me. When I go back home,
Mhm.
I go home to a gate that goes, I even think it makes that sound. I'm almost positive it does.
Yeah.
And I go home to the nerdiest name, and they see my biker ass pulling
Yeah.
in, but I'm a nerd now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I walk into Walmart and I'm greeting people. How are you?
Civilized
Did you see what's on aisle 7?
now.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've been so on edge since getting on that highway
Mhm.
Sunday because I'm coming back. But it
Mhm.
didn't stop me from going down 3rd Ave today.
Mhm.
I'll post the video later. It didn't stop me from going up on Crenshaw.
Mhm.
Didn't stop me from going, that used to be my dope spot. That was my clothing store. I
Mhm.
worked at that because I'm showing my brother where I'm from,
Right.
But then you think when someone goes, oh, he can't come to the hood no more. What are we missing in the hood?
Mhm.
Because they put a Starbucks? No, that don't make
Exactly.
niggas civilized. That just means you have a high coffee
Yeah,
taste.
that's right. That's right. And that shit is a trap. It's funny how that shit, they try to play on your ego.
Yes.
Right? They try to play on your ego with you can't come to the hood. And then it makes you want to go and say, okay, well, try me then. Prove to me that I can't. Then when you got to kill one of these niggas,
Yeah.
or they do something to you, it's all a trap. It's
Yeah.
all bullshit.
Well,
It's all
sadly,
bullshit.
I'm on the flip side. I don't care.
Right.
Like, oh, he
Right.
can't come.
But that's why
Anybody can
that's what
say
I'm saying, they
anything
play
about
on your
anything I
ego.
say on
They
this
play on your
podcast.
ego.
I got 2 sons now. I got a business and a career. You could be like, okay, can't go back to the hood. So what if I can or
Right.
can't? I don't care.
Sadly, though, Ken, it takes some of us. That was my small bank account you saw.
Mhm. Yeah. So I can get that 200.
Yeah, I
then.
got you, cuz. I got
Okay.
you. Like I'd be ruining my life.
Mhm.
Like I'll make
Right.
niggas choke if I read IRS. I have no money. I'm so joking. I got nothing.
We didn't say how much it
Yeah,
was.
it
It
was
could be
$1.
1,500.
Yeah, exactly.
I just
No,
asked
come
for
down,
2.
come
Oh,
down.
okay.
Man.
All right,
Come on,
800.
Cord, come on, cuz.
800.
I wish I had that
Yeah.
at 55. I'm never looking for the fade, but at 55, because I don't know what 55 is supposed to look like, but I see some cats 50 and I'm go, oh, you embraced all that. Jesus.
Damn it to hell.
Damn, Daniel, you just let it all go. But I catch myself now, even in the motorcycle world. I've got enemies. I didn't leave gangbanging to get into the motorcycle world, and now I got enemies now. I'm like, a motorcycle don't know who's riding on that ground, don't know who's dying on it. And you angry on a motorcycle? You know what I mean? But I still catch myself knowing I'm not supposed to go to this part of the state. And my brothers will tell you he'll go anyway.
Yeah.
Because you need to prove to me. And that's an ignorant, what you need to prove to me.
I fight with myself with that same shit.
How many times do you say, man, I don't need to turn left?
Right.
And we turn left.
Yeah.
It don't make me the toughest guy. It actually means there's a part of the screw that just never really tightens all the way, and we still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can only be moved, I think, again, like if I was to hear something someone said to my face, because at the end of the day, again, I ain't no tough guy.
Right.
That's just my brother. So same way my blood sister, you ain't gonna talk about her, you ain't gonna talk about him.
Yeah.
But everything other than that, like I've been telling him recently for the last couple of years, like I had some road rage people pull up on me and for cutting them. Maybe I did cut them off. I don't know. But at some point it's like, bro, you can have that. Like whatever you mad about, whatever, like my kids are in the back seat. We ain't doing all that.
Not to and again, just to show we are works in progress.
Yes.
Yeah. And like I had a situation where last year, I think it was a nigga on social media who local nigga, nobody nigga. But it's funny how you'll have like 99.9% approval rating,
but you will find
that one motherfucker, you like, bitch ass nigga, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
so he, but then the thing about it was with this nigga, I kind of told him like, okay, bro, we cool on the trolling. Like I'm taking my ball and I'm going home and I'm playing no more. Right. But so when I feel like when you tell a motherfucker to stop and they keep going, then you want something else.
You just open the door.
You want something else, right?
Yeah.
So here, my goofy ass, right? I'm back home. I see him. I pull up on him. Now, mind you, I have to do TMZ. I was co-hosting TMZ Hip Hop that Monday. This is like Saturday. Why is my stupid ass stopping to want to address a nobody ass nigga? So I created this unhealthy situation.
What happened when you realized he didn't want it?
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. So he didn't, right?
Wait, that's not to say what it says someone else is to take the
Yes. So here, a motherfucker on social media talking all this Billy badass shit.
Yeah.
I pull up on him. I say, check this out. It ain't that serious to do nothing to you. But all that disrespect shit, it's a park right here. Let's go over here. Let's run it. Matter of fact, I might respect you a little bit afterwards.
Right.
The motherfucker look me in the face and tell me, man, you too, what do you say? You ain't just gonna be beating up on me to prove that you tougher. You can fight my big homie. He more your size.
And we don't get no size requirement.
So hold on. So I'm thinking to myself, if you need another nigga to take your fade, you probably should shut the fuck up. Because if we was in prison, you know the things I could have you doing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Your days. This gift package is gonna be forever giving.
You feel me?
That I'm gonna keep giving you. That's gonna fuck your whole time up.
That's what I'm saying. So you mean to tell me? And he was hiding behind his little gun or whatever, and I had one too. It didn't matter, but it wasn't that serious because I knew that. Okay,
allegedly,
allegedly, because I knew that if I fire on him and I don't knock him out and he go for that thing, it's going to create I'm gonna have to do something.
Overstand something. I fear a coward.
Yes, and he was scared. He was scared.
I don't touch on it.
Yep.
A lot of people been asking, why do I say my older sibling, my younger? I don't call my brothers and sisters because I didn't see them as brothers and sisters. So they're siblings. We different father. We had a tumultuous life, but one who I always looked out for was the younger sibling. He was a cupcake ass little dude, didn't sprout much. And he caught an attempted murder case. And I paid for the case. My deal was I will not bail you out. I had to sit, you gonna sit. And I had the fedia, I had the bread, but you gonna sit. And he sat for 8 months. And I got all the prison calls. Man, you niggas, man. He from a hood that the numbers don't even add up. When your hood don't even amount to the number that you claiming. I'm gonna store a number. Let's say you from 7th Street. You ain't even got 7 niggas. So, you know, when your hood don't even have the numbers.
Right.
You know, and man, fuck, they turned on me, and they all did. You know, some of them told on it. Yeah, that was him that shot so and so. You know what I mean? And so he had to sit. He walked, and he did it. Let's keep it 100. It's the guy didn't die. He got mad because a crackhead beat him up. The crackhead didn't want to buy the dope from my younger sibling. So, man, don't be coming around here. Before you're a crackhead, you still a grown ass man.
Right.
And he put paws on my younger sibling.
Right.
Embarrassed him. So what he do? He pop him.
Damn.
So he beats the case. Now remember, 8 months of, man, when I come home and when I blah, blah, blah. And I got the call from my lawyer going, hey, he beat the case. You know, he's coming home today. I get the call. I'm living in I'm one of the first cats to buy a house in Palmdale. Anybody remember? But we're talking 90.
Oh wow!
You know,
that's when Palmdale was.
That's when Kaufman and Broad. You can get a beautiful mansion for $80,000. Yeah, my money smelled terrible when I got to the bank. Huh? What does that smell? I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure. I was mowing the lawn. That's why it smells like grass.
Right.
But long story short, he was awarded to my custody. He was home for 1 day, and he needed to remind me how much he needed a woman, how much he needed to get high, and he was back doing 7 years in less than a year. He was running his mouth. This is not in the book. I'm just comparing to what you're saying. At that time, I was managed by the great Stan Shepard.
Shout out to Stan.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Stan wanted to take me to lunch. And we go over into the Inglewood, over on Prairie. And who do I see? A little tough guy. And who was telling people that I owed him $100. How about that $50,000 I paid for your lawyer? But I'm gonna give you this 100 right now. So I walk over to the car, and this is what I got. Let's say this is Schoech. Get away from my car, nigga. You ain't just gonna be beating me up, man. Get away from my car. And he was willing to shoot me, his own blood brother.
Wow.
For running his mouth. This is the same younger sibling that went and did Piggy Reggie Wright when did his show. Didn't show his face. You lose all hood points when you go do an ex-cops show. Anybody else's platform, whether it's you, but when you claim you this old killer rat, we don't go do cop shows. We don't. And you went on a cop show to talk about me?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was this recent?
It was a couple years ago when Piggy was doing all those. He did like 9 vlogs on me and said,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was Smoke with Reggie, with Junior.
Oh, may he die a terrible death.
What's the issue with you and
nothing
Reg?
that I would even. I just hope I hope he gets anal cancer, and I hope he dies a terrible death. When you go out your way, I'm a different kind of hater.
Yeah.
I'm a whole different kind of hater.
Oh, listen, me and him then had conversations, and he'd say some shit. I'd be like, damn. I'd be like, OG, what do you do for your anger? Then I text you something
After
like
what
that.
he
I said,
just said,
working
That's not
your
pressure
anger?
point.
No, I don't say it.
But he's from Compton. You from LA. I don't know. I don't know. I could be ignorant.
He's
I
a
don't
cop.
know how your paths pass.
He's a cop.
Okay, but I'm saying he's a Compton cop.
Wouldn't matter what he could be a Paris cop.
Yeah.
I'm a different kind of outlaw.
But what I'm saying is where could he have an issue with you? I'm trying to figure out how your
So
paths.
there's a known story of how the Tupac masters became mine. As you know, I'm the person that you do know that.
Yeah, yes, I do.
And he tells one story. The masters are mine. I do own the Tupac masters. I'm the possessor of the Tupac masters. There'd be no Pac's Life album. Everybody heard Molly Mall say, yo, I produced the Pac's.
Now, let me ask you, because I know it was allegedly some gangster shit with getting the having possession of them.
Really?
I don't know. Allegedly, I don't know where that came from.
That.
But so is having possession the still
my
the
eye
same?
twitching?
Is having possession still the owner? Is that ownership as well?
The state's attorney, the beautiful Molly Majane. I love you, Molly. There's a picture of her sitting on my lap at Sushi Mac the day we signed that this is your book.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you're the owner of this book.
Right.
But if
Right.
you got it before I got it licensed and before
Mhm.
I got it this and you're now the possessor of it, 9/10 of the law,
I see. I see.
you know.
Mm.
And I don't want to give Mr. Wright any, because I'm sure he'll use this for money. He probably made a lot of money off me
Mm-hmm.
because I, when I got a call from the most reputable red rag,
Mm-hmm.
who's over, because me and the other guy that is on that show,
Yeah, you talked to me about
we
that.
we were in a motorcycle club together,
Right. Right.
and what are you talking about me for? Like, you know what I mean? And
Now, was you and
that person,
Big J? Yeah, was y'all cool in the motor?
well, we were in the
club?
motorcycle club. We were. That was my guy.
Okay.
My homie Big Ice, rest in peace, was engaged to his daughter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And again, at 6 degrees of separation.
Mhm.
If it had anything to do with realness, I was in it,
Mm-hmm.
even the ignorant stuff. But just, we brought up that guy
Mm-hmm.
because of my half sibling, and he loved. I got his brother to talk shit about him.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen this half sibling in like 20 something years.
Mm-hmm.
That means you had to. I thank him for posting a childhood picture of me because I didn't even have one. It's like, damn, I was a cute ass kid. Thank you.
Damn, I missed that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know, because you know what? I
he
kind
did
of
like
don't.
9.
I kind of don't get engaged in the shit like that, but I didn't see that. I see Reg's current content, which is mainly death row shit, but I didn't know that you and him had a.
There was no me and him. It was someone kept posting something.
Mm-hmm.
I never. Remember earlier we said we're live, and I was like, "Oh, you didn't really record that."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was doing something. I said something about someone from my neighborhood beyond 10 times reputable than me, and he released it.
Oh.
And it had something to do with death row and blah blah blah.
Okay.
And before I even found out, it was like, "Oh, take that down, homie. You weren't supposed to." Which respectfully, he took it down.
Okay.
But by then, on the internet, only
Damage
takes
is done.
Yeah.
Damage is done.
So then it was, it's not. It did happen, but it happened like this, and he's this, but it did. What am I arguing with a cop for? But when I get a call from the most reputable red rag from the hood that your other, and he goes, and then you put me on the phone with 2 more cats that are higher, and they go, all respect, little homie, leave that dude alone.
Yeah.
Because when we got, we'll say it off the air.
Okay.
Because then we're turning into what I said I hate.
Right.
And my thing is what you do that doesn't stop me from eating, breathing, or sleeping holds no merit in my life. What bothers me is what we were talking about we have now made social media the proper way to beef. If you knew a girl had a resume, you didn't wife her. If you had an issue with someone, you didn't talk about it.
That's right.
Killers don't talk about killing.
Right.
Killers kill.
That's right.
And I didn't give you a heads up. I didn't give you a pre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of these niggas playing police games too.
Yes.
Though. Yeah.
And if I gave you a heads up, that means I got to worry about all my moves. I don't worry about my moves.
Right.
If someone says, because you're an ex-gangbanger, you can't go to this neighborhood. Well, there's probably nothing over in that neighborhood I want to go for.
Right.
Now, in the motorcycle world, and I'm fully retired now, completely done. The brother who I walked in with, who ain't on camera, probably in the top 3.
Yeah.
And he's that guy.
Right.
And he'll.
Let me ask you something. So you kind of coming from the 60s, coming from the gangbang world of the streets of South Central, and then transitioning into the motorcycle world. It's pretty much kind of like jumping out the skill into the frying pan. It's the same.
No,
shit,
jumping out the frying pan into the fire.
Right. It's pretty much the same.
It's the same
thing.
exact ignorant thing.
Okay.
You saw me go on a tangent. He catches my tangents, to my beautiful niece. If you don't follow me on IG,
I'm about to.
what, about 106,000 people follow me, and I follow like 9.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I don't have that gray area to ignore stuff. And what I hate in the motorcycle world. Do you know people get mad at me just because I say motorcycle? You ever hear anybody say bicycle? And a bicycle
They
is
want you
before
to say motorcycle.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as that. It started with just like a bicycle.
Yeah.
Bicycle was before a motorcycle. You talk to anybody over 70 from the South, they say motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's where it comes. I'm not trying to be.
I've heard it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, motorcycle.
It's old school black. Boy,
Yeah.
go give me that. Give me my beer and give me get my motorcycle.
Yep.
You know, but what angers me is guys that get in the military and they're ready to kill for this country. You know, we're killing for our country. And then they get out and you go to that club and I go to that club. And a beef happened back in Vegas in the 90s, or a beef happened somewhere in Saskatchewan. And now fuck that side. And my thing is, let me tell you the easiest club to get into. You ain't got a prospect. There's no application. Gangbanging.
Right.
So if you want to do some ignorant ass shit that we did, man, by all means, there's tons of shit to get into. But if you're going to get in this motorcycle world, there is no motorcycles in prison. And no matter what she looks like, her name is still Jerry. So why are you entering in that world? So your question is, well, why'd you do it?
Yeah.
Because that screw that we have, it's the, you know, I did that interview the other day with my brother Goldie, and he said, do you ever think you'll come back? And I said, no. And if I'm not in the top 10 of the most notarized motorcycle cats, and that's not even me being bravado, it's just I've done a lot, then I've done something wrong. But I definitely know I've done enough to say what I don't believe in. Brother, I don't want to die over no stupid ass patch, just like I didn't want to die over a bandana.
Right. Right.
Or a block that I don't own.
Right.
I'm a huge watch collector. Let me tell you what watch I've never gotten from gangbanging.
Let me ask you, what's the allure? What draws you to the outlaw underground life?
When did you start working out?
I was about 31, 32. So maybe
2004.
So he was just slim.
Yep. Yeah, I played.
Oh,
point
he was so slim that his homeboys used to make fun.
Here we go.
We shot a movie and he did a love scene.
Uh-oh.
And his two dudes from Kansas City, Too Sick and Lil Derek came out. And the three of us just had a roast session. Because you did the flex and your little chicken wing pop.
I did, but I played ball, so
Okay.
I was just like karate body. You know what I mean? Like Bruce Lee. You know what I mean?
Well, you've seen pictures of me.
Yeah.
You know, I just battle serious illness. So this is out of shape for me. So I've had the same thing. The allure is when you really start. See, when you're in front of your daughter or your wife, like, baby, she was right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, down to go pick up that oatmeal. You know what I mean? But when you saw muscle, you had an allure to it, correct?
Yeah.
You had a passion for it.
Yeah, I did. I developed one.
You know,
Absolutely.
watching your shoulders, watching your. You know.
Yep.
When it comes to, see, I'm not a motorcycle rider. I'm an outlaw.
Right.
I love being a one percenter. The passion that I have for saying I don't do politics. You know, I'm probably the worst Muslim you ever meet in your life because I'm a terrible, I don't believe in God. I love the teachings of Islam, but I don't believe in God. You know, I don't believe women should be in, sorry.
Oh, you know, she's
Renee
30.
said.
She's
Oh.
30. Oh, she grown.
So I don't, you know, I think MC stands for Motorcycle Club, not menstrual cramps. That is the most big-headedest thing you ever hear me say, I promise. Because can't we just have something?
Yeah.
And
No,
I
I feel that.
I know some females that can ride. You know what I mean? But the allure is knowing that that road can't tell me anything. The only person that can mess that up for me is weather or a cop or a stupid drunk driver.
Right.
So the allure of knowing that I can get on my motorcycle with or without a patch, and another outlaw might look like when you go and work out.
Yeah.
Somebody, man, you look like what you on trend.
Yeah.
Like I'm on the 245s over there, dummy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It is just something that I can't leave. You know.
So But that's something that you have to be born with, and it seemingly you've always had it. I mean,
Oh
were
yeah,
you always kind of a rebel?
always, always.
What do you think? Is that you think you were born like that, or were there instances in your past that you you developed that as an armor or as just kind of a defense mechanism?
I talk about it in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I made it off the block
Mm-hmm.
by Guillermo Elan.
That's right.
Stand by Ice-T.
Get ammo.
Yeah. Guillermo.
Guillermo.
Gustavo Johnson.
Yeah, that flows Guillermo. That flows.
I will tell you what credit I will give my birth giver. She was this white woman that it wasn't until we were in a Ralph supermarket that she said the word nigga, and a black person was like, stupid bitch, you blah, blah, blah. I actually don't like cursing, so I apologize for curse so much. And I was like looking around like, who's he talking about? Because I didn't know she was white. I thought she was light-skinned like me.
Yeah.
But this woman was no punk. She was no punk. So that resilience in me was her. Now, sadly with her, she was just okay. She was okay receiving Section 8 and moving her kids to the ghetto. There's nothing about an upgrade when you just go from one hood to another hood, but your rent is cheaper. The bullets still go through the same street.
Right.
I was that kid that if you said, don't go to that corner.
Yeah, you was going.
I was already up at the block.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you ever run across Cobra or Gotti from Booyah Tribe, that's my second family. I have a song where I say only Booyah truce with, make money with, twist heads with, but I'm the ultimate Crip, because when you put two bangers in a room, tell me what you get. Funkified riders pull up right beside you. Don't you want to be like us? But you can't, because you's a bust then, Booyah was my, we known each other when we were 12,
Right.
10, and Cobra met me up at Redondo Beach, and they're from there. They're from Carson.
Right.
Redondo Beach is walking distance.
Yeah. They red rag.
Yeah. Pyru. And they were like, where you from? I was like, 3rd Avenue. You just rode. So that would be the equivalency of here to the end of Glendale. Maybe?
Right.
That would be about, but I'm talking the end of this bicycle ride. And he was like, man, you this Crip kid, and you up here in this. I never saw life that way. I didn't fear. I knew he was, but again, you got to prove it to me.
Right.
You got to prove to me why you so angry. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've always been that edgy person. And like I said, in the book, I touch on so many chapters. I don't overdo gang life.
Right.
I don't over glamorize it. If anything, I touch on chapters and I speak about it. You've been hearing the audibles.
Yeah.
I speak about it like we're talking.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't go into, so step one is, the Ice-T story. It's short.
You know what? What I want to ask you is, being that you come from South Central and you've been through prison, you made it through gang life, but there's an entrepreneur side to you too. You've been pretty successful. You've been able to do well for yourself.
IRS.
Yeah.
I have nothing.
Where did that come from? That entrepreneurial spirit, being that it wasn't modeled for you, growing up.
I want to ask you a question. When you started learning about me, did you believe me?
Yeah, I believe most people until they give me a reason not to.
Now, why did you believe me? Because you have to do a little bit of homework.
Yeah. Well, I was already up on you.
Which I didn't know when I read. He was like, oh, what's up, OG? I was like, thank you.
Yeah, through the music and through our mutual homeboy, Big Herc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what it was, I think, once we start rapping, of course, we always want to check references. So I hit Herc, like, Herc, what's up with OG? He was like, oh, nah, you know what I mean? He's solid.
Yeah.
And talking about Herc from my neighborhood?
Yeah, Big Herc from Sac.
Yeah.
And but then Ice-T. You know, Ice-T ain't fucking with no suckers. So it's like, okay, well, shit, that's what it is.
Again, I always looked at life. It's funny. The questions you're asking me are actually your answers. Everybody get it?
Oh, I caught you.
I'm the slow one on the bus now.
You don't get it?
Yeah, no,
Shout,
I get
bud,
it.
shout
I
it.
just wanted you to elaborate. Yeah.
when someone said, the best story I ever heard was, I did a deal with Selecto Hits out in Memphis.
Oh yeah, shout out to Selecto. I did a lot of business with them.
Johnny and Wes.
Yeah.
And I've never had a record deal ever in my life. You know, I did my first deal at Sony Relativity. Ice-T said, look, if you got 75,000, they'll match your 75. Well, nigga, I definitely got it.
Yeah.
And it smelled bad. But I did a deal with Selecto Hits, and I showed up in town, and I'm sitting in Johnny's office, and he says, what time did you fly in? I said, fly in? I drove here. He goes, I just spoke to you at 6 p.m. yesterday. I said, I know, I was getting on the road. He goes, why'd you drive? I said, I can't sell no records flying over it.
Right.
You know, when I was in my past, I never wanted to stand on a corner and facilitate the streets.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
By the way, drug dealers, there's certain ways to use your vernacular so you don't indict yourself. So when we were facilitating, I did not want to just keep it simple. I wanted it to look complicated to others, because if you make it simple to everybody, it's just going to be a mess. You know, there's a pile over there. Everybody run over there and go get it. But you got to make that pile seem like it's something different. So having my first restaurant before I had my first clothing store at 19. You know, I always tell people in the book, I talk about the My Name Is, the Eminem video, where he's sitting on that bus bench. It's the shortest scene in that whole video. Why? Because he's shooting the video at 6 a.m. in front of my old spot. Hey, cuz, who the white boy in them out there, cuz? Yeah, go run them up out of here. That's why it's the shortest scene when he's on the bus bench.
Yeah.
Like, cuz, get them.
Yeah.
Because I had a clothing store up the street and I had a dope spot there. I can't let you. So my ignorant mindset is what always kept me in the street. My entrepreneurial mindset was, I got to do something with this money. I am the cheapest, most frugal person you'll ever meet in your life. I'm sponsored by Puma. There's where my shoes come from. When I was in Thailand, I bought 20 pair of Air Force Ones. I wouldn't give a fuck. Because if someone goes, those are fake. Well, after I'm done kicking you in your face, what are my shoes worth then? You know? So I've just never been, my Corvette is not new. My truck is new because that's got to do business. That's tax write-off. My Navigator's not new. I have 7 motorcycles. Bolts, or any of my motorcycles new? No. But they're all worth a lot of money. You know what I mean? I never was that kind of street guy. And I never let anybody tell me that you can't do that.
Right.
So your questions are actually your answers.
Got you.
When someone says, you want to be an actor. Did you want to be an actor, or you just started acting?
That's a mixed question with me.
Okay.
I kind of fell into it because people.
But did you want to be? Did you sit around? You've known him 20 years. Did 20 years ago he said, I want to be an actor?
I would say he did. I would say you did.
So you want to be in some form of entertainment?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes?
I think he was transitioning from
It's almost like your daughter.
Gangster rapper.
Almost like your daughter. Which he sent me one of his rap songs. I was like, that's you,
Yes. Oh, man.
You weren't a member of ours in Bone?
Right.
I was like, okay.
Like, real shit. Real
But
shit.
life is a transition.
Yes,
You're
it
allowed, the parents who raised me, you know, who raised me. I don't acknowledge, my birth mother was my birth month, you know, it's my birth giver.
Right.
I never met my birth father. You know, he was murdered, set on fire, beaten to death, you know, never met him. The people who raised me, my dad said to me, you don't get this time back, but there will always be somebody that's ready to take that time from you. And if you don't stop to realize, do something instead of nothing. How many people have dreams, but then go, man, do something.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Do something. Maybe you can't open a candy store, but sell some candy.
Right. Right.
The people who I want to punch in the throat now is, I want to be an influencer. If you don't influence your ass, go fill out a job application. You broke. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I don't want to ruin your dream.
Yeah.
Influence on.
Everybody got to have a dream.
Yeah, so my mindset was always, who's gonna tell me I can't?
Right. Right.
You know,
let me ask you this: how many times you been to prison?
Well, jail and prison,
Mm-hmm.
because people don't
Mm-hmm.
correlate the two.
Right.
So
Let's say penitentiary. Did you sat
twice.
down?
Twice.
Okay.
Twice. Longest I was given 15 and I did 410.
Okay.
And then I did another 16 months federal.
Okay.
And I've done juvie. I've done.
Well, your last stint, I just want to ask you, what did you learn while you were in prison? And how did it influence you to like make some different decisions, to pivot, or how did you spend that time? And what did you learn?
So I was a weird drug dealer.
Mm-hmm.
I did not live the characteristic,
Mm-hmm.
when I did the show American Dope, Al Prophet, he
Mm-hmm.
went down to the hotel where I caught my murder case, and I drove a Camry.
Mm-hmm.
They're not looking for drugs in the Camry.
Right.
I had a cop pull me over one day. He said, "Don't you play for the Rams?" Yeah. Oh man, times are tough right now.
Yeah.
My mindset when I would go to prison was, I got this. What I finally learned was when you go to jail for not paying your taxes, you go to jail for murder.
Mm-hmm.
You go to jail for punching somebody in the face.
That's what you went to jail for?
The last time for tax evasion.
Wow.
When I took over Mo Thugs,
Mm-hmm.
I owed $3.2 million.
Mm.
This is on record.
So you acquired Mo Thugs'
I acquired all their debts.
Wow.
See what you did there.
See what I did there? You like that?
I did.
Thanks. And getting a letter on your door at your beautiful new beach house, and it says Soul Property Lien. It should have been spelled SOUL, because they're ripping your soul out, but it's spelled SOLE. There's a levy and there's a lien. You want the levy first.
Yeah.
You don't want the lien.
Yeah.
I got the lien.
Okay.
And I went on the run,
Mm-hmm.
and without saying any names, man, can I borrow, a lawyer that I've had who was Suge's attorney, who was Nate Dogg's attorney. You know who you are, fucking window liquor. And I said, could I borrow some money? And you know what he said? I can give you some Walmart gift cards. Now, remember, if you refer to a lawyer, you'd get $100 or you get a percentage or whatever. So I'm like, man, I definitely know I've made him $1 million off my own stuff.
Right.
And he said, I'll give you some Walmart gift cards. Guys that I definitely know I made millions of dollars for, I couldn't get my phone calls returned.
Wow.
So it wasn't that I learned something going back to prison. I learned something by finally really because I've always been the giver. Okay, you ain't know me from a bowl of cereal. Nah, man, come on, man. I'll give you the code to the house. Just
yeah.
Because all you can do is mess it up, and then we'll just catch each other when we catch each other.
Right.
But when cats that you on stage night after night, family is my everything, everything. But bro, can I get that $200?
Yeah.
Oh man. So what I learned was to pay my taxes. Pay your taxes.
Didn't they? They took Al Capone down for taxes.
Yes.
Not for all
not
the
murder,
stuff,
not
all the stuff
no.
Al Capone.
They didn't even
for.
try to give you a chance to let's make a deal. Let's make some arrangements.
Well, I went on the run.
Oh, okay.
Because
you did say that. Yeah.
I kind of panicked a little bit. You want it all?
Like $3 million?
I can't. Damn. Cause I did a such an insane. Like, man, I could put something on it. Man. You want one of these motorcycles? You know what I mean? Taxes are different. Dads went through it also, and at that time, my child support was $5,600 a month. And we're collecting these checks. But may I again die deaf 10 times over. I never took more than $50,000 out of every deal that we did. I was like, I'll get mine on the back end, which is why I live very comfortably off royalties now. Thank you to Sound Royalties for those checks every month. You caught that again. But when I realized when they posted that on the door, and I didn't take it that serious at first, And if anybody has ever watched the movie Glass, that's directed by Race Denton, Emmy Award winning, he wanted to do my true story.
Mhm.
There was no more notes on the door. The cops were in my house eating my cereal when I walked in.
Mm.
Literally, the Jay Scratch plays, my guy Jay Scratch from Q104 plays the detective,
Mhm.
Detective Sadler. And he was like, you feed your kids this nasty? I'm standing there like, you're in my house.
Yeah.
And them telling me, so we need you to go down to the IRS building on Monday. And I went down there and I looked into the room and I realized I'm looking at a mirror that I can't see anything on the other
Right.
mirror. And I'd heard about this mirror.
Yeah.
And I said, I excused myself and go to the restroom. And I went on the run for 7 months.
Wow.
And I'd never drank alcohol before in my life.
Mhm.
Never. You run into anybody that ever sees me have a drink that trips them.
Mhm.
And I turned into a full-blown alcoholic because I had another house in Arizona. So I bought it from Charles Lee, who played for the Cardinals.
Mhm.
I'm hiding that in that house. Pop-off vodka is only $7. Who needs Tylenol? Just grab a bottle of vodka.
Mhm.
And I started drinking. And I just hid.
Mhm.
And I finally turned myself in when my third youngest daughter was like, why aren't you coming for your visits?
Mhm.
And because I would sneak, and then they went and start talking to mothers, like, we're looking for him.
Yeah.
So what I learned, sorry to drag the question out, what I learned was crime does not in any facet. And when you get into white collar crime, like I literally I'm going to jail. I'm getting 16 months in Terminal Island for taxes. Do you know the biggest ripoff in the world is taxes? Not to get anybody in any trouble, but they didn't write none of your rhymes.
Yeah.
They don't do any of your business. They don't. And we literally pay someone. Let's take that back. We literally get our money taken
Mhm.
that does nothing.
Mhm.
Absolutely nothing. So that gregarious side, that anger was like, I'm really going to jail.
Yeah.
And all that tough in the world,
Yeah.
was like, yeah, you're going to jail. You get mad all you want. Guess what don't work in this? Gangbanging don't work. We're
Right.
not impressed. You need
Right.
more people.
Right.
And so,
Right.
yeah, what I learned was that there is no half stepping.
Mhm.
And from that day on, it was paying my taxes.
You know what? Let me ask you, do you make more money, not to get in your business, but do you make more money off of the masters that you have acquired opposed to your music that you
Oh, yeah,
make?
I don't. Yeah, because there's a company for any artists that have catalog. Catalog.
Mhm.
And we're talking, if you've sold, say you've sold 1 million records,
Mhm.
and those songs continue to make money.
Right.
So someone like a Spice One.
Yeah.
Now he may not see that money anymore,
Mhm.
per se,
Mhm.
but there's this company called Sound Royalties, who I just shouted out. Sound Royalties does this is not a sponsorship. They do their due diligence to find your royalties.
Mm.
Well, obviously, the Mo Thug catalog, the Bone catalog, the Tupac catalog,
Mhm.
all the songs I've done with so many people,
Mhm.
and that check was retired 10 times over.
Wow. So when you say the Tupac catalog, are these songs that are in the marketplace?
These are unreleased. So when they came out to Arizona to my house, Molly,
Mhm.
there's a Bible. There's literally a Tupac Bible that they match songs.
Mhm.
And I had songs they could not match.
Mhm.
So what I did, this is all public record, I sold everybody their songs back that belonged to them.
Mhm.
So Interscope sold Iveen back, sold, not gave.
Mhm.
You want these songs back? You want the original masters?
Mm.
We're talking left acapella, right? Go ahead.
So these are so basically the masters, the sessions of songs that they
Yes.
have that are out
That they didn't have anymore.
that they didn't have. Right.
That Suge was supposed. Well, he got that $10 million from
Gotcha.
Koch at that time,
Okay.
and they were blank.
Gotcha.
He didn't have them.
Okay.
So I've never to this
Damn.
day.
So-
he didn't have them.
So Suge did the
Yeah.
damn.
They didn't finish the whole wire. It
Yeah.
was like 2.3 something they gave him.
Okay.
But again, when I get up from a table,
Uh-huh.
it turns into this. Is this nigga telling the truth? And then you pull up all my projects and see
Yeah.
there's a Tupac project on everything.
Yeah.
You got cats that were signed to Death Row. They can't put it. Do you know I'm the only artist in the world? The only artist in the world. When I leave, do your homework. That has a legal song with Biggie and Pac.
Mm.
The I Am joint with me and
Mhm.
E40.
Mhm.
There's a remix with an unreleased Biggie and an unreleased Pac. What do you think those checks are like?
Wow.
We're not talking
Yeah.
unreleased Biggie and unreleased Pac.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the dry master, we're talking that the ADATs, the
Mhm.
2-inch,
Exactly.
that's all been transferred.
Mm-hmm.
One day off camera, I'll
Mhm.
sit and tell you how.
Yeah.
It wasn't that I just, when
Yeah.
they say the gangster
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
that
yeah.
happened,
Yeah.
it actually was somebody you wouldn't even imagine that lives in New Zealand now.
Wow.
That, like I said, off
Okay.
camera.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
so yeah, I make more money off of, my
Yeah.
percentage of ownership.
So you license those masters to, I guess, because you need an administrator.
Yeah.
administrator.
So if the songs legally belong to,
Mhm.
I've sold
Mhm.
those back.
Okay.
If they can't match those masters and they want to use them, the Pac's Life album, the song
Mhm.
that I put Nipsey on,
Mhm.
they got to pay me for that.
Right. Okay.
Every 30 days before.
Mhm.
Remember, it used to be if you lucky, you got a $90 check every 6 months from
That's
ASCAP.
right. That's right.
Now, because of digital, you get a check every month.
Right. Right.
So if they're unreleased,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to understand, I didn't just do, I own some George Benson.
Yeah.
I own some Donna Summer. I own
Yeah.
some Whitney Houston.
Wow. So what made you get into that game? Because most people from the hood and artists don't understand publishing and masters and things like that. They just know, okay, I want to be a performer.
Right.
Pay me like one. They don't
Yeah.
understand ownership.
Well, you know what ends up happening? I'll get emails like, hey, Caz, so how I get in this master thing?
Yeah.
Where I do that at?
Yeah.
Oh, so you go over there on 98th and Avalon.
Yeah.
And, there's a guy by the name of Brian Pereira, Cleopatra Records.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when, again, I obtained the Mo Thug rights. And Steve Lobel tells me about this company called Cleopatra. And at that time, do you remember who was the distributor? It was before Universal.
New Tribe?
It wasn't New Tribe. They were a distributor for us, for
Okay.
independents.
And I know what you're talking about.
Yes,
I can't think
it was with an N.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Navarre.
Navarre.
Yeah.
See, now you know I'm not lying. And he had just did the deal with Navarre.
Mm-hmm.
And we go down and meet, and I'm in his warehouse, and I'm seeing Elvis Costello.
Mm-hmm.
He asked me to do a reggaeton remix with Bob Marley. By the way, only artist in the world with an unreleased Bob Marley.
Wow.
Had to part,
Yeah.
which was the B-side of Wicked Lady.
Mm-hmm.
So he would buy, remember the B-side was a gimme. It was a gimme.
Right.
So he used to do t-shirts
Mm-hmm.
for the rock concerts. And remember Lemmy from Motorhead,
Mm-hmm.
group Motorhead?
Mhm.
He catches him at a concert one day. And Lemmy was one of those guys that would walk off stage at the Troubadour, go outside and be like, who's bootlegging my shit?
Mm-hmm.
And he sees this big, tall Billy Zane looking dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you're making these t-shirts? He's like, yeah.
Billy Zane.
That's what he looks like, swear to God. And he's like, well, what are you selling these shirts for? And I'm selling them for $20. He goes, I like you.
Mm-hmm.
Because he literally was going to go in his pocket like, well, this is what I made. He says, I'm going to let you make the t-shirts for Motorhead. It went from that interest of this kid from, Beverly Hills, not rich, didn't grow up with money, to saying, well, what do you do with these other songs? And he said, well, the B-sides, they just give those away. So he goes to his parents and says, will you help me put these records out? So he starts putting out 45s over in
Mhm.
Europe. Because
Mm-hmm.
in Europe, they still do what? They spin vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
he starts
they
putting
do.
out 12 inches, 45. I just got back in Germany. I literally saw 45 still in the store.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just started he started licensing. So to
Mhm.
answer with my long ass answer, he taught me the licensing game.
Mm-hmm.
So I would catch cats like Spice One, Yuck,
Mhm.
Corrupt, and be like, look, what do you got?
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, I did who owns it?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. Right. But if you're signed to so-and-so, who owns it? Because see, now I don't own the master. I own the license of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually 6 months or a year. Long story short, I just started buying catalog.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I just started buying artist after artist. I own some Rick Ross because I own some Bruno Mars because before Bruno
Really?
Mars was Bruno Mars,
Yeah.
he was whatever he was.
So how do you come in possession of a Rick Ross or
There's
his
a
records?
producer somewhere flat broke and he can't financially put it out, but he produced Rick Ross probably in 2000 whatever.
I got you. Okay.
Like I own some Neo and some Bruno Mars.
Mhm.
It was a street cat that Big J and all them know.
Mm-hmm.
And he was living out in Vegas. Bruno Mars was, and Neo's from Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, man, I got 8 songs. But let me go ahead and you don't know what
Yeah.
to do with it.
Right.
So if you listen to the song Can't Come Back to Me with Lazy Bone and Bruno Mars,
Mm-hmm.
that's the executive producer.
Okay.
Guillermo Gustavo Johnson.
So what I'm curious because like I was talking with Lay, we were talking about the whole Mo Thugs and the albums. You have all of that, the family scriptures,
Yes.
1 and 2, really?
Yeah.
So it's all good. You got that and Ghetto Cowboy and
Well, you just
Thug
heard the
Devotion.
remix to Ghetto Cowboy. I just did a remix to it.
Really?
Oh yeah, we're shooting the video next week.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So Crazy's on the hook, but we
Mhm.
remixed it. And
Mhm.
you know, my thing was they weren't seeing any money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always pay homage and I say, Lazy is the creator of Mo Thugs,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I'll continue to keep saying that.
Yeah.
You know, my only thing is I'm still the financier of it.
Right.
So, you know, the fans got angry, like, oh, he's ruining Mo Thugs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can't keep putting out the same, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I finally signed a Latino group. I signed other people. I signed a kid over in Egypt named Profi, who's from Eritrea, where Nipsey's from.
Mm-hmm.
That takes Mo Thugs to a different level.
Right.
Just like
right.
you extending it to your daughter, it
Right.
takes it to another level.
Exactly.
So now we got kids in Egypt saying Mo Thugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
That's
when
dope.
Mutai called me and said, hey, by the way, they banging Rolling 60s in Egypt.
Yeah.
I was like, what are they banging on, camels? Who the fuck is that? And I flew all the way to Egypt. There's
Yeah.
documentation of it. And I was
Yeah.
like, every picture, shout out to my man Rami.
Mhm.
Rami's the shot caller out in Cairo, Egypt. He's from Eritrea, from Nipsey's country. Every picture, he was banging on burgers.
Mhm.
He's banging on a picture. Just so I messed with him one day. I
Yeah.
said, Bert, why are you banging in Egypt?
Yeah.
Oh, because we don't bang. We like
Yeah.
support. I said, nah,
Yeah.
cuz we ain't got supporters.
Right.
When you throw this up, cuz you from us.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you I said,
gonna
wait,
find out.
your brother's name is Sue Whoop.
Yeah.
I'm not making this up. His brother. Now I said, so your brother's a blood. I was
Yeah.
like, y'all got to, everybody knows his story.
Yeah.
I said, y'all got to get out, cuz. No. What do you mean? We don't want to, huh? I said, cuz y'all got a
His
thunder.
brother's name was Suwu.
If you go to my Instagram, there's a big Rami, neighborhood
Yeah.
sub 6,
Yeah.
and then there's a Sue Whoop, and that's his brother. And I was like, and obviously I was playing with them, but I was like, cuz y'all got to get out, cuz. I was
Yeah.
doing the eyes
Yeah.
every time. Cuz y'all got to you got to thunder this nigga, cuz. You about to be infant Caz,
Yeah.
homie.
Yeah.
No, because we don't want this. Is what we want. I said, well, stop then.
Yeah.
But I ended
Yeah.
up signing one of their kids, who's
Yeah.
also from Nipsey's country,
Mhm.
named Profi.
Mhm.
And again, I just try to continue a legacy.
Right. Right.
Lazy Bone is the architect. He is the designer of Bone Thugs and Harmony, of Mo Thugs.
Mhm.
And, you know, do I wish we had the relationship? That was my brother.
Mhm.
His mother was my mother. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Stu D's, Stanley, like
Mhm.
that's my family.
Mhm.
But sadly, money will drive. And you just look, you'll have 20 more people cross you and steal your weed or want to bang
Mhm.
your old lady.
Right.
I just needed to do business.
Mhm.
And sadly, as we saw, and I'm putting it on camera, we just were in the parking lot together and didn't say one word to each other.
Mhm.
This is a
Yeah.
person who we've slept in each other's houses. We've, you know,
Mhm.
and didn't know he was going to be there.
Right. No, this has been an interesting day, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time that happened with us. So what you've had a very interesting journey,
It's
to
been
say the
nifty.
least.
It's
Yes.
been nifty.
Was that what prompted you and compelled you to write the book?
The book was approached to me by a company called Windsor a few years ago, and I
Mhm.
just couldn't get my head. I was like, I don't want to do a tell-all.
Mhm.
I don't want to talk about what women I,
Mm-hmm.
and so I said no.
Mm-hmm.
And then they asked for the check back.
yeah,
Money can move you.
yeah.
I was like,
Hey, you know, it's kind of a funny story, like what Richard Pryor said. You know, remember he said, you know, money will make you, you know, sell your self-respect.
Mhm.
You know, and he was like, you know, you sitting there battling with it, and you know, he
Yeah.
said, you know, and money winning. I mean, fuck my
Yeah.
self-respect.
Self-respect. Your bank account, that new Bentley in the driveway is going, nigga, we won. And it wasn't so much, it was just I could not understand how to write the book.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever need a voice of reason, become best friends with Ice-T or claim him as a brother.
That's right.
Because Tracy Morrow will never, ever lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
And when I told him I wanted to write a book, he was like, just make sure you don't go to jail because your stories are way different than my stories. I just, you know, again, the book is called I Made It Off the Block. Not another statistic. And originally the book was called I Am My Father's Son. The cover was different. It was this dark cover. It was black and white. There was a silhouette of my birth father who I never met.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I sent it to the publisher and they were like, does he smile? You know, and they were like, we think he could sell more books if he at least smiles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, make it. So it was funny when I talked to the publisher, they're like, see, this looks like a self-help book.
Inspire your life.
Yeah, he may look like he could probably change some lives
Yeah.
or screw them up. But to me, the book is a blueprint of any parent that has a child that may be troubled in the hood,
Okay.
that has a husband that's in and out of jail, or a boyfriend, or a brother, or a sister, or a father. This is the blueprint of I've been shot. I've been to prison. I gangbang. I'm an entrepreneur. I am not a wishful thinker.
Mm-hmm.
I am a reality doer.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was asked, they didn't like the title. And it turned out there was like 30 I Am My Father's Son titles.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was on the phone with my publisher in New York, and they're like, well, what else could you call it? And I was just telling niece, see, I'll never call you by your name now. It'll be my niece. All my brothers know me. If it's your wife, it'll be sis. You can say her name 50 times now, that's sis. I was telling the original, you saw the original cover. It was black and white, and it was called I Am My Father's Son. And they said, well, what else could you call it? I was like, shit, I don't know. I mean, I made it off the block. I
said, there it is.
Yeah. That's you.
And I went, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I want to ask you this, because I started on a book as well.
Okay.
Right. And through that process, bro, I found myself being mentally and emotionally drained.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. I've never done it. Had no reference point. I was just going through my past. Thing about it, it was emotionally draining because it was a lot of good things, a lot of things that had passed.
Yes.
And then you start remembering people that meant everything to you that are no longer here. How did you navigate that? Was it the same experience for you?
I gave away more chapters. When Ice-T was like, look, hire a writer.
Mm-hmm.
Not a ghostwriter. Ghostwriter is somebody that just tells your story.
Right.
Hire a writer.
Yep.
And my man Nicholas, shout out to Nick, from New York.
Mm-hmm.
There's some misprints in this book because I was sick at the time, and he spelled Crip, K-R-I-P-P. So anybody's gonna come out the woodwork like, they ain't no real Crip. He spelled it. When you get into the big money, sometimes it doesn't always come across your desk.
Right.
There was a part where he was like, so then I was like, yo, son. I was like, my nigga, we don't say.
Yeah, we don't talk like
yo,
that.
son.
Yeah.
And, but the most impeccable writer,
Mm-hmm.
the draining part to your question is things that you think sound right for a book were honestly just medicine you needed to,
Right.
you know, it was therapy that you need. You know, Karen Gravano, Sammy the Bull's daughter, there was a write-up that we dated. That was my heart. You know, did we have some romantic? That was as far as I wanted to get to talk about. You know, there was a chapter about Dana Plato from Different Strokes, but I was with Dana Plato when she was on her. So I didn't put that in the book.
Right.
because I didn't win her the right way. I won
Mhm.
her because I was a drug dealer.
Mm.
So was I that cute, or were my drugs were really that attractive?
Right.
Look at you.
With Karen, I end up giving the chapter away. You'll know when your book is done, when it's done.
Mhm.
About 75% of the book, I finally told Nick, we're good. I want to do this on my own.
Mhm.
Because I started learning sometimes less said is best said.
That's right. Yeah.
And we overkill because we think everybody wants to hear this
Right.
news bulletin. They don't.
Right.
So the Karen chapter, I just
Mhm.
gave it away on YouTube.
Mhm.
But I gave it away for her to understand. I'll never
Mhm.
disrespect your name that way. Like
Mhm.
this woman never went to hiding, never did witness protection.
Mhm.
Not her brother Gerard, her father kept it one eye. You can call him a snitch all you want, but if me and you go to jail
Mhm.
and I'm hearing tape recorders of you going, oh, Caz is a fuck up, just go ahead and let him.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
I don't believe in snitching,
Yeah.
but I definitely believe in getting even.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you're writing this book, honestly, Court, sit by yourself.
That's what I did. So my process was, like you said, I had a writer, and
Okay.
basically I was doing voice
Yeah.
recording. Yeah.
Same thing. That's what I do.
But I have hours of it. And I tell you, like, I would do it and then I would tell my wife, I'm like, oh man, like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I just want to sleep. I just feel,
Yeah.
and what
Yeah.
it was is just going through so much in my past. And my thing is because I carry so much loss.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
lost so many people in my life, and then, like I said, those good times, those things that made me feel good, it's like they're long past, never to return. So
People have asked, obviously people know the first person we beat in this, we talked about it in Life After the Penitentiary with Big Herc. I don't like the word survivor. I'm an example of being molested as a child. My first person I ever laid with was my birth mother.
Mhm.
And no child should have to experience that,
Mhm.
let alone a child that's being molested by a man.
Mhm.
I was molested by a woman.
Mhm.
And I've got siblings like, that didn't happen. That didn't. Okay, she was Mother Teresa. Go ahead and run with that.
Mhm.
But what finally broke me in the book was about a cat. I did not cry the whole book until I was doing the Audible at the studio in Arizona.
Mhm.
And there's a section of the book where I begged my birth mother to let me have this cat. I named the cat Tabby. Again, I'm Big Caz.
Mhm.
I got chew bullets. No, I don't. And, sadly, my birth, I was born addicted to heroin. So any wittiness that you may catch off me,
Mhm.
some of that is lingering effects of some good heroin. You know what I mean? I've never done a drug in my life, but it just happened to come with the package.
Yeah.
And I came home one day and my neighbor, Miss Aubrey, I talk about it in the book for you guys to get the whole story, but she's looking at me like, baby, don't open that trash can. And the story of Donald Duck is in the book. You got to read the book to know what Donald Duck is about. But I saw Donald on top of the lid was halfway, and I saw the feet of Donald Duck, and Miss Aubrey going, baby, don't open that. And I didn't respect Miss Aubrey because she was the neighborhood snoop. She was the neighborhood snitch. So I'm going to open that lid.
Mhm.
And I completely right? And I'm the toughest motherfucker I know this side of Nantucket.
Mhm.
And I lost it. I let out tears I haven't let out probably in years
Mhm.
about this cat.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That
Mhm.
I had to sit here and know that this woman took that from me. So as you're writing, you're gonna know which stories.
Your birth mother, she killed the cat?
She killed the cat.
Wow.
The cat, the story I got, which she was very short with her anger. She said the cat urinated on something. Didn't show it to me. This is a woman that I brought a puppy home probably 8 months later, and it's in the book. And I asked, can I have the puppy? And she had a moment of grandeur where she's like, okay. And then she wanted to hold the puppy. Now, my birth giver was about 300 pounds. 5 foot nothing, but about 300 pounds. I could hit like a man.
Mhm.
And I hand her the puppy. This is after the cat. I showed my man where I lived. I lived on one side of 3rd Avenue, and she was having sex with the landlord who moved us across the street. And there was always something tumultuous in that life. So I handed the puppy, and the puppy starts shaking because I'm the first interaction with the owner, from the mother to the owner to me. Now, and dogs know, animals know. And she's holding the puppy, starts shaking. Puppy's barely 6 weeks old. And Julie's petting it. She's like, oh, poor baby. You know, it won't stop shaking. And I'm pleading with my eyes, like, please stop shaking. And a little bit of urine came out, and she slung the puppy across the room, and it banged into the dresser and broke its neck. And at 55, that story didn't bother me until I told it to myself 3 months ago, or 2 months ago on the Audible, that why was this woman so vicious? And for years, I owned her behavior. As we all joked before we turned the cameras on about how violent we were. My violence, I would say, remember people say, oh, you just like your daddy. Or you just like your mama. The truth is, you're actually not. You don't have to own that behavior.
That's right.
I owned it. And that's what this book is about. It's about making it. If I just told you stories of, oh, look, that nigga's life was miserable, it becomes boring. So there's success with my dog now, who I pay homage to my dog for the dogs before, you know, or the cat before. But she was a very messed up woman, you know.
Did you find healing in doing this book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Knowing that I did. I wasn't allowed to cry then, because if you cried, remember what they said? Let me give you something to cry about. And knowing that I was in the vocal booth, and I got, you know, again, one of the toughest niggas I know, who's with me every day, hearing me get quiet in this dark booth. And they're knowing why I'm quiet, because I'm in there losing it. You know, I'm in there letting go of painful tears. You know, when she died, Ice-T was like, man, because he knew her. He's like, man, go to her funeral. Let your kids, they met her one time. He was like, let them choose. And we went. I saw my birth sister walk right by me. Saw a little fuck boy walk right by me. And everybody was on the left, and me and my kids were on the right. And they're going, oh, Julie, we give you the shirt off the back. And I'm like the comedian going, yeah, but you don't know where that shirt came from. Like, I wasn't angry. I was just fine. She's dead now. And I went back a year later after her passing, and she's inside Inglewood Cemetery. I went into the mausoleum. She's in the mausoleum. And I went to her. I still have the picture and the video. And I went to her thing, and I wanted to see if I could cry. I so badly wanted to see if I really felt any emotions, or was I, because you're either angry, or you hate, or you're just empty. And when I realized I couldn't let out any tears, I giggled and I went, boy, you were a mean ass son of a bitch. And I took a picture and walked away. That was my closure. Writing the book wasn't closure. It was my opening of understanding where I am today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's my understanding of why I do things the way I do them. You know, why I take the chances I take.
Right.
You know, you're the daughter of an entrepreneur, but you're also the daughter of an ex-street dude. You're the niece of, you know, and now you're a niece of a nutcase. But you will never understand it until we're gone.
Right.
You know,
Right.
the woman who raised me owned over 200 beach properties, but she was the wife of a notorious motorcycle outlaw. And my dad was my everything. Stone cold racist. It wasn't until he was dying that he realized he was a racist. My dad was I got black friends. I was like, nigga, you got Darlene and Stanley. Well, you can count your black friends. You don't. And it wasn't until, you know, and I will share this with you. I'm sure you got to kick me out soon. But my mother passed first, and I was sitting on the couch with my dad, and he said, you know what it's like to go from 6 feet tall to 4'10"? I was like, no. And he goes, I measured myself today. I've been sitting on this couch since your mom's passing. And I realized I'm this big, tough, kick-ass biker, you know, and I'm sitting here 4'10". And you know how much I wish I was 6 feet tall and your mom was there so I could dance with her. I wish I would have danced with her more. That's when all the tough shit in the world. See how the room just kind of went somber right now?
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of go, man, you don't get this time back.
That's right.
Dance with your lover more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had the privilege of seeing my ex-wife yesterday and had not, see, I just went, really? And it felt okay for me to be okay with whatever she was angry with me about.
Mm-hmm.
But it also felt okay for me to go, I don't have to defend anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to go your way. I'm going to go my way. Still, to me, one of the most beautiful. When I talk about in the book, I've never been in love. When I meet women, I say, there's two things you're never going to hear me say. I love you, or will you live with me?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm the biggest manipulating narcissist. Because a fuckboy will never admit that.
Mm-hmm.
The first time a woman called me a narcissist, I was like, bitch, hold on. No, shit.
You right.
Like,
Damn it.
This bitch got me.
Is this on Google? And I had to come to the realization, yeah, I'm a narcissist. I'm a pugilist with my mouth. I can manipulate. Boy, I was one of them trifling DeBarges. You know what I mean? And now that I realize that, it makes me understand why I'm not somebody's good husband.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the running joke is, damn, you've been married 7 times. And I would go, well, somebody's got to watch the dog when I go to prison. The truth was, what are we as convicts?
Right.
Con men.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have to make sure my cars are good when I go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the ultimate thing? Get her with sex and get her with marriage.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I lost this woman who I consider my mom, and she was on her deathbed on morphine.
Mm-hmm.
Thought my dad built her new drapes. She's in the hospital and she's thinking she's at home, but she's high on morphine. Look at the cabinets your dad made me. And later that night, I went back to go visit her, and the new hospice nurse, I walk in and she's like, oh, this is the son I'm hearing about. Remember cabinets and draperies just hours before? Silver-tongued fox. He's a tramp. Run, girl. Ignore him. You see how we all just laughed?
Mm-hmm.
It hit me. And I walked out the room and cried. My dad came out and he goes, do you get it now?
Mm-hmm.
I needed to see it through the mother's eyes of, this woman was not my blood, but she loved I houses foreclosed on that were in her name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went on the run. When I came home, they found me up at Neptune's Net back in the outlaw world. And I hear, because my mother called me pretty.
Mm-hmm.
That's where pretty. If you ever hear me say that's where, and I hear pretty. And it's my sister Renee. And she's like, mom and dad across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother was paralyzed on the right side. Never missed a ride with my dad on the motorcycle. I walked across the street and she just put her head down, started crying. And she goes, where are you at? I said, I'm in a halfway house over in Van Nuys. And she goes, can you leave? I was like, yeah. She goes, okay, I got a house for you.
Mm-hmm.
I had just burnt this woman 2 years before that.
Wow.
She owned a lending company. If you're ever in Oxnard and you go down Victoria, when you get to the end where the beach is, you'll see Pacific Rim Realty.
Mm-hmm.
My mother started as the receptionist to the assistant. And when she passed, she was the owner for 36 years.
Wow.
Had no real estate experience. And my dad was a badass biker.
Yeah, it's usually how I go.
Yeah. And she put me in a house. So I just had to learn.
Yeah.
And no women should ever have to go through the bullshit I put them through.
Yeah.
You know, I talk very shortly. There's a chapter called Tale of 6 Wives. It's actually 8 because I married 2 twice. I don't bring my daughter. I know. We'd have some great marriages though. They were dope. And I'd be like, what time is it? 3? I don't want to do this no more. But even my daughters, I don't bring them into the book.
Yeah.
Because I think it should just be about my misfortunes and missteps.
Yeah. Right.
And I will strongly, strongly push you to say, don't finish the book.
Mm-hmm.
Just work on the book.
Right.
Because if you just finish it, you don't know if it's not right.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Because he knows you.
Yeah.
So it's different. She knows you, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
When you started hearing my audibles, you were, damn, man. When I posted Paula, Minister Khalid Muhammad, rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted a picture and he's like,
yeah.
these stories just can't keep coming.
Yeah.
And he hit me privately like, yo, you lived with Khalid Muhammad? Yes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of time in this world that you can do a lot of stuff.
That's real. I mean, you've lived 20 lives, bro.
I
Are you planning on writing another one?
I have one book. I did the documentary Life of a One Percenter that was huge, but I didn't get to tell my story. I told the story of Chosen Few. I told the story of the Vagos, told the story of the Mongols, and the abuse in the motorcycle world, and to just the element of the oldest 1%er outlaw club. The book now is called Life as a 1%er. So the documentary was one thing, but this now it's my story.
Nice.
Now it's time to piss some folks off and go,
Yeah.
well, all you got to do is prove it to me.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, you got an amazing story, inspirational one as well.
As do you.
Yeah. No, yours is I think you done lived a little bit more than me.
Only by age, brother.
But no, it's a blessing, man. I have listened to the audibles, and I will say, they need to go get this book because it's a lot of good shit in here, and not another statistic. And it's actually you're teaching a lot too. Let me ask you one last question.
Yeah.
I mean, I always say if you live life long enough, it'll teach you how to live. Where did your enlightenment come? Your understanding, your insight. Where did that come
when
from?
I stopped looking for a leader, when I stopped looking for God, when I got to Egypt, I thought, I did my Shahada live on air with Muta Napoleon in Egypt. There's a known picture when you come out to the house, but it's on my page too, where I sat in the same spot where Malcolm X did his Shahada it was just a piece of tape there. I didn't know. And I posted it, and someone was like, you do know that is where Malcolm X did his Shahada. And I didn't know. So I thought, I'm the chosen one. And then 3 days later, I was like, God damn, I want some bacon. That was so wrong. But I really did want some bacon.
Pork and white women.
Yeah.
Pork and white women.
But for me, when I realized I couldn't answer the question, I can't find it in a woman. I knew my life became structured when I knew that I have not done women right. And God is not going to fix it. If you're into it, it's not for me to, I'm just too much of a realist to go, look, I ain't never met him. I probably believe in UFOs a little too quick, but life became more structured for me when I just stopped looking.
Right. Okay. Man, OG. That's a lot. It's been heavy. This has been heavy.
Well, we could have did a bunch of but we said
and the thing is, you know what? We're gonna have you come back to the show because to be honest with you, your journey is too vast to squeeze into an hour and a half. You know what I mean? So we might have to do this a couple more times.
Ken?
Yeah, I'm here.
Y'all come out to
you know what? We gonna do that. You know what? Listen, on
and
camera.
not my house.
On
I
camera.
have
No, on camera. We're going to OG's. He say he gonna fly us out.
Yes.
He say he gonna do it up for us at the
We'll
beach
either do
house.
that. We'll either do. Well, or that's just here. You can come here this Saturday.
Oh yeah,
now,
I forgot you got the other one.
Real quick.
Yeah, I forgot you.
I'll be at Barnes and Noble's this Friday in Ventura on telephone at 5 p.m. That's a straight telephone road.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can make it out. My little
For
nephew
sure.
Marion is coming out.
Okay.
Another story.
Is that this
this Friday?
Okay. Yeah.
So I will be at the Barnes and Noble's this Friday. Please do, and then come on to the beach house.
I got to.
But I say this because I'm not buying anything. I'm not. But again, we so quick to call someone family, we'll do something family like.
No, and let me say that in front of everybody. You have treated me as such. Ever since we rap, you embraced me. You ingratiated me. Yeah.
And I didn't know you from a bowl of cereal.
No,
bro.
that's real. Off the top. What it was is at first we start rapping. He was like, okay, cool. It was a little embracing, but I think once you talk to Ice, once you talk to her, once the references checked out, it's like
because I will tell you who always intrigued me. Because he's supposed to be the quiet one, but he'd hone in. And then I was like, okay, he's got a family. And then when you brought Niece, it was like my goal before I leave this earth, whether it's tomorrow or I want to see people never go the routes that we used to go.
That's right.
I just happen to take a few more vacations and don't ever wonder why I embrace someone. You got a brother to the left that's not on camera that he's going through some stuff, and okay, well then I'm gonna go through it with you. Difference is I don't want to suffer with you. I want you to win.
Right.
There's $100-some thousand worth of this over in my warehouse. Go fill your truck up and go make you some money, and I'll see you when I see you. I got 6 motorcycles. How many motorcycles I got? 7, 6? If I got a motorcycle, you got a motorcycle.
Yeah.
But if you break it, you better pay for it.
Yeah. That's how me and him is.
Yeah.
He's shouldered and gotten up under shit with me when
Yeah.
he didn't have to.
Yeah.
You know.
And if anything, when people take away from these podcasts, is we could have sat here and just constantly talked about degradation.
Right.
Instead, it's I got to share my stories, but I got to share it with family.
Right.
So when I get up and walk up out of here, only thing that I hope to leave with you is, man, he didn't take nothing away from us.
Yep.
We took something from each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't do that enough.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could sit here and say, man, come on out to either the beach house or come on, or I may just go, look, we're going to go to the big house in Rocky Point.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you got your passport, because I ain't belling y'all out. But but you gotta enjoy life.
That's right. That's right.
You know, we will give more to total strangers. You'll let your boss tell you what to do. You'll let cops tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
You'll let your landlord tell you what to do. But you won't listen to your friends.
That's right.
When your friends I want to sit with people and be jealous of the time when we're away from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Where I have good times, unless they snore really loud and you have a 3-story beach house and you could still hear them snoring. But because you love them, you excuse it.
That's right.
But listen, brother, I thank you.
Man, I appreciate you, OG, for real. I appreciate the game, the knowledge,
And I hope
wisdom,
I
understanding.
hope it added up. Amazon,
Go get the book.
physical, the ebook.
I
and
made it off the block.
Not another statistic. And the Audible should drop this week.
All good.
Amazon does not play when it comes to, like, I literally had to change words because there's things you can't
Yeah.
say. Because I make, and I know you can't say
Oh, yeah,
that.
it's not in 2023, OG.
And I don't even mean it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, but in our generation, it was just,
they were okay with nigga, but don't put cupcake. You know, was that derogatory for a homosexual?
That's right.
No,
That's
it's
right.
a cupcake ass nigga. It means he's mushy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
So we just finally yesterday, he will tell you, I was like, they took it. So I literally for 3 weeks we've been having to change words, and because it just kept saying error.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to figure out what the errors are.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, YouTube do that shit
Yeah.
too. But, man, congratulations on the release of the book, OG. Man, I appreciate you coming, sharing your life story. Again, we got to do this again because you
Done.
have so much,
Done.
you know, and we can't, it's too much. We can't do a disservice and just, you know, condense it to an hour.
Yeah.
So, man, I appreciate you, brother. Much love. If I can be of any service to you, you already know.
Do it, though.
That's automatic. So,
And we're connected through one of the most amazing brothers
that's right.
that you can't give a compliment to because
That's
he'll give
right.
it to himself. It is my beautiful brother Ice-T.
Ice-T. Yes,
And
OG Ice-T.
I will say that if there's anybody that fought for me to get off the block, if you ever want to see me really lose it over him, like that cat, every time I'd come home from juvie or prison, I'd be a little bit bigger. And he'd go, oh, you just came home? Come on in.
Yeah.
But I would never take him up on it.
Yeah.
And my ignorance was, he's like, man, come on the road, man. You light skin, you this, you know, and we look alike. And
Yeah.
and I would go, yeah, but all the niggas you got, they got Beamers and Mercedes, but they still live at home with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
And for years, I would always use that defense. You know what he said to me one time? He goes, yeah, but they're free and you're not.
Wow.
Took me years to get that.
Game.
And that's honest to God. I don't pay homage to anybody but him, where I've tried to pattern myself
Mm-hmm.
after Ice-T.
Absolutely.
You know, and he's quick to check you. And the reporter was like, oh, you're the longest running black actor. And he went, no, I'm longest running actor. You know,
that's right.
So we can all learn something from that beautiful man.
Yeah. Shout out to Ice-T.
So,
yeah, that's
Sir.
All right, man. Big Court, Holding Court podcast. Rachel, Renee, producer Ken, Big Cash. Y'all go get the book. I made it off the block. And we out of here.
That part. Thank you.
Appreciate you, OG.
I'm holding court, it's standing trial. Why ain't I see you round back when I was down? Karma's on the way. What goes around comes around. Karma's on the way. There's nothing you could do now. You gotta pay.